Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch. This is another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. In this video, guys, I want to talk about my temporal Vortex team that I decided to keep. So the reset is coming to an end. The Clepsydra Torrent event ends in 12 hours. I already made a video talking about priorities, and I shared with you some tips that will help you decide on what heroes to keep up and running, what should be your priorities, and feel free to check that out. But now I want to talk about Corrosion and why I decided to keep this team. This video is sponsored by Dragonheir Silent Gods, so I just want to say a big thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. If you guys haven't tried Dragonheir Silent Gods just yet, Season 3, the Echoes of the Deep, is in full swing. Is the perfect moment to start playing. So if you want to help and support the channel as well, guys, you can download the game by using my link in the description down below, or in the pinned comment, or by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. Dive deep, battle peak, and come and join me in Dragonheir Silent Gods. Now, the new season is bringing in tons of new things, guys. A new elemental affinity combination, and I want to talk about a couple of different things in this video. So we have the Fire and Radiance, Ice and Poison, which will be the meta, these two, and Necro and Lightning not as powerful. Now, I want to show you how effective Corrosion is early on, which is not very effective, but I'm gonna explain you why I decided to keep that. So I'm going with Corrosion from here on. I don't want to reset more characters, guys, and most probably I just won't be able to do anything much crazier than I'm doing at the moment anyway. Now, if you are a lucky owner of Aura Heroes in Season 3, right? If you have the exclusive, if you have I'm on Leda, then she is amazing early on for progression, okay? Because she can always crit, which will give you a massive advantage over the rest of the heroes that need crazy stats to do good damage. She can do good damage. Now, the reason why using Radiance Fire is great this season is because Radiance has some of the best support in the game. Not some, the best support inside the game, okay? Hands down, no questions asked. If you haven't summoned this exclusive legendary, guys, Aura is going to be pretty weak, including early on. So don't even think about it. You're better off by building up a wild team. A wild team for the Vortex is going to be pretty impactful. It will be good for dungeons, but it won't be good in the Goblin, right? If not, considering building Ice Blast. Ice Blast will have pretty much the same issue. Now, for the Poison and Ice, it will be harder to have good support. Yes, you have Frorbart, but other than that, it's going to be pretty hard for you to have good support for the Vortex. Unlike the Radiance and Fire, you have Ardred, you might have Agarius. There's so many different options that will allow you to have better support for that. So I would probably look to do a wild team instead. If we are actually having a quick look right here at the Temporal Vortex to check the teams, I actually haven't looked what teams the guys are running. Seems like, yeah, Arsalan's still running Dauntless, still being at the top of the list right here. 72 million damage, pretty solid. And if we're looking at number 2, probably the same. Number 3, still the same. Number 4. And we are right here with Ice Blast. This is actually very good damage, guys. We have Beldele, we have Sheena, we have Zorak, we have Finja, and we have, of course, Asilia. Now, Ice Blast is very effective, but they're not that great against the Goblin. They're very good against dungeons, though. They're just melting bosses. This is another Ice Blast right here with the new support hero Cinerel, very powerful as well, such an amazing healer. So these are kind of like the dominant teams, but then you have the wild right here. So if you have a Flora, guys, and you might have some characters that will allow you to go unkillable, yeah, it's going to be awesome. Even if you are not able to go unkillable, you have different support heroes from the Radiance, pair them up with wild, and you're gonna get very good damage. Now, my team, guys, is nowhere to be found because it's really not effective right now. My team actually sucks right now. So I will have basically no chance to compete with any of these guys right here. I could have done something similar like this. Of course, I don't have Beldele, the exclusive, but I was running Ice Blast for the last few days. Today I decided to go with Corrosion, and I'm gonna show you how Corrosion works early on. It's actually pretty weak, I'll be very honest with you guys, and I'm going to explain you why. The reason why Corrosion is weak is because we need to deal big damage in order to really stack up numbers. Now, we need to have tons of corrosion on the enemy. So Rook, for example, can go ham and trigger this skill more and more and more and more, based on how many stacks of 30k corrosion we have on the target, which right now is pretty hard to achieve, right? That's the main issue. That's why this team doesn't perform well. We just don't have the gear to be able to deal crazy damage, raw damage, and that's how corrosion works. But this will change probably. For me, it will change, I would say, in approximately 1 week. So for the next 1 week, I will suffer with this team, but I'm going to show you what sort of results you can achieve with this. This is what I have in terms of gear. In terms of artifacts, yes, I do go full in with 5 legendary artifacts, but this should give you guys an idea of how bad is performing now, considering that I have 5 legendary artifacts. So this will be like, okay, I'm not going to do this team because right now it's not good. So I'm going to opt in to do a different team. I do have a bit of a timing right here to show you. It's no point to show you the stats on my heroes, guys, because honestly, they're just built for damage. You know, like the main things that they have, like check this out. It's built for damage with the best possible gear that I have. We don't have runes yet. So that's not really going to make a big deal. I have rare gear, I have epic gear. So yeah, I cannot get very good numbers, but I just don't want to use Ice Blast right now, or use Wild right now, and then don't use those heroes probably for the next 1 month or so. You know, so I decided to suffer for like a month, for like a week, till I get better gear and I can finally do damage with my heroes. And then I'll kind of like make up for it, because this team will deal crazy damage later on. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'm gonna summon another Corrosion legendary, which will be very, very helpful for the team, you know. Once we go to Goblin 4, I'm actually going to have to change the team a little bit. I'm gonna have to probably drop one of the damage dealers, so that will be a bit of a hard thing to do. I'm not exactly 100% sure what I'll be doing, because I don't have Ogok to enable me to go unkillable and stuff like that, you know. But how you may notice, the damage is really stacking slowly. 1 minute in, we haven't reached the 1 million mark just yet. But I guess it's fine, you know. Like, if I wouldn't have had Finja, guys, I would have definitely opted in for a Wild, most probably. Because I was going to go with good Radiant support, Garius, Ardrat, maybe bring in a Rose if I needed to, or just bring in some different attack down character, or no attack down character, and just go in with Tonal Nun, Erich probably, and try to get the damage like that. Maybe I was going to use, who knows, Garius and Elminster, you know, half the shield, half the decrease attack from him. So you have plenty of different options. Like this season, Radiance and Fire will be extremely, extremely powerful, especially if you don't have Rook. Now, I've done a few tests before, guys, on the live stream that we made a couple of days ago, where we tested Corrosion without Rook, which was pretty underwhelming. We tested Aura, the best potential team that we had available. The best possible team that we had available, sorry. And that was still decent. Now, if we had good support for the Ice Blast was coming at the top. That not taking in consideration the option of using Wild without Flora, you know. And of course, I used the Ice Blast without Beldele, and was still coming at the top over the rest of them. Now, if you manage to summon one of the exclusives from any of these types of damage dealers, guys, try to have a look at that. Shadow was pretty weak in the Vortex 2, was not that amazing. Was actually the weakest, barely reaching the top damage. the main reason there is that the support is not as great. You know, it's really hard to get a team running with a necrosis and lightning at the moment, unless you have some very specific key champions that will enable your team to stay alive. At least the rest of the elemental affinities have more options on the table. You know, how you may notice, 4 million damage, and we're like almost 4 minutes in, 3 minutes and a bit. So the damage is not extremely bad. It's okayish, but this damage will not allow me to compete for a top 50, for example, which is fine. I'm gonna take the L for the very first couple of weeks. You know, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I already missed 2 days of Vortex, and I've just realized that for 1 day I actually haven't received the rewards for whatever reason. I'm not even sure why that happened. So I'm not too stressed about the Vortex. The real place where you compete for the higher top is the Otherworld event. Before the Otherworld event, when you're dealing the damage with the open world bosses, you know, for the legendary event, all those things will give you the points that you need to compete for the higher top. You know, at the moment, I'm really not worried about that. I just wanted to have Corrosion up and running. I don't want to build basically another team and then have 3-4 of them just chilling there, not using them anywhere, because I'm waiting for the legendary event to start or the Otherworld event before I'm gonna use them again, you know. And yeah, that's how the damage looks so far. Let me know in the comments down below, how is your team performing? What team are you guys using in the Vortex? What you decided to keep if your reset is coming to an end now, right? The Clepsydra event. I'm gonna fast forward from here, guys, where we're gonna get to see the results, and we're gonna see how Corrosion actually performs. Okay, so we lost most of the damage dealers, guys, and one thing that I forgot to kind of like mention from the very beginning, I don't have any other Corrosion legendary heroes. Now, if you have the other 2 Corrosion legendary heroes instead of my epics, the damage will be 100% higher than what we have right now. No questions asked about it, no doubt. But I don't have them, so this will kind of like give you guys a bit of an idea of what Corrosion can do, and maybe help you decide if it's worth for you to keep the Corrosion, or you want to look for something else. Now, if you don't have Ogok, if you don't have Felocia, if you don't have Finja, it's going to be extremely hard to get the right support for a team like this to work. Okay, for the Ice Blast as well. But of course, you can always make a 3-man elemental affinity. You don't need a 5-man elemental affinity from the very start. Okay, so that can be another thing to keep in mind. I could potentially bring in a different support hero in my team as well. So this is the damage. Rook, 40%. Then we have the purple gem dude with 17%, and then we have him with 29.7, which is actually pretty good damage looking at his damage and Rook's damage, right? So overall, it's not a bad damage. I'm actually going to save this. This will give me the top chest on the 2nd difficulty. It will be much harder for me to get the job done on this difficulty once we're actually going to unlock it, you know, and that will be in a few days. But that's pretty much everything for the team. How I mentioned, if I would have available some different characters from here, Sacridia, for example, she's going to be massive. Not only that she inflicts corrosion, but she extends it, you know, so that's actually going to be very nice. She increases it. And then you have Whisk, which is so much better than the epics that I use. You know, he's actually very solid. So if I would summon any of these, will definitely increase my damage quite a bit in the Vortex. But that was all for the video, guys. I just wanted to show you how Corrosion does early on, if it's worth it for you guys to keep a team like this, especially if you don't have Rook. Put it off the menu. I've done a test, how I mentioned, without Rook in the team, just with Sacridia, with Whisk, and with one of the epics, and the damage was really not that great. Ice Blast is still better. Wild is still better. Dauntless, if you have some insane support for them, still better, guys, you know? So I just wanted to share all this with you. Thanks again to Dragonheir for sponsoring today's video. And if you guys want to try Dragonheir Silent Gods, you can download the game by using my link in the description down below, or in the pinned comment, or by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. That was all for the video. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.